Like, what are the more trends we can expect in the gaming sector in future?
Yes, gaming has been evolving from decades. The AI, the word that we keep more frequently here nowadays, AI was introduced in gaming long back. Neural networks, fuzzy logic was part of the gaming 2 decades back. So the gaming domain is the one which is being more creative.
Welcome back to another episode of another podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, and he is Altaf Hus. So he is the director of engineering at Jungly Games. He has also co-founded Erica Technologies, which is a health startup. Welcome to this campus of ours, and it really feels an honor to have you here, have you interact with the students. And so instead of me telling about your journey, I would want you to give a brief about your journey from start till today.
Yeah, thank you, Sneha, for having me here. Been 18 years in the gaming industry so far. Pretty much worked on all genres of gameplay, all segments of gaming. It has been an overwhelming journey so far. I'm lucky enough to have converted my passion into my profession. I feel and I'm very happy that I'm a game developer by profession. It's an amazing experience, an amazing feeling. Every day is a new set of challenges that I need to handle. The journey has been overwhelming so far. I can just say that.
So you are someone who was very passionate about gamings from the very start, like initial days. Say?
Yes, so I used to play games a lot. The first game that I played was Line of Sight Vietnam, one of the first 3D games that I started with. So by doing that, I started learning about game development. So fortunately for me, one of my friend started a gaming company. From there, I got my first break. So it's been 18 years since then. I never looked back. I never left gaming, no matter what. Uh, been started as a game developer in the beginning from C++, now working as a director of engineering in Jungly on Real Money Games. Amazing, like the kick that you get out of developing games, I don't think you can get that anywhere else.
So was it like starting say you had decided ki, yeah, if I'm doing something related to engineering, it is this field?
Yes, see, honestly, I wanted to get into development for sure. Gaming just happened. I'm glad that it happened to me, and very thankful to the people who helped me get into that and who helped me guide and who guided me and mentored me to that way. I'm very thankful to those folks who helped me on that. I am trying to do the same thing for my juniors, on the other team members also, because everybody should experience what gaming is, what a game development cycle is. They should also get the kick that I'm getting right now.
So you've started from your casual gaming to actually now a real-time gaming. So what are the differences that you see in this sector?
See, every genre of games, every has a different age group, different region, different gender that we target to. Each of them have their own requirements. For example, because I have worked on games where we were targeting the kids, educational games. So there we had to be more specific about how the game feels. The kids can't read, they can't hear what we are trying to say. So we had to build the game in a way that they can completely play on their own. So that is our challenge. And the kids are not forgiving also, like they want everything fast. They can't wait. They are very impatient. So we have to make sure that the games load faster, as fast as possible. That was the challenge with them. Then we went into sports games, sports simulation. There the challenge was making sure that we deliver that kick, that it has to be speed. For example, if you kick a ball, the ball has to reach there, the physics has to be real, the character has to feel real, everything has to feel real. Getting the reality into the game was difficult. That was a challenge. Then we went into MMORPG game, where we had to get more than 50 players playing on the same screen, making sure that game runs on all devices, Android phones, iOS phones, desktop. That was a big challenge. This was back in 2013, where we had 1 GB of RAM, having 50 players playing on the hardware. It was very difficult. We spent a lot of time optimizing our code, optimizing our assets, and finally we achieved that. After 6-7 months of hard work, we achieved that. And now into real money gaming, it is a different challenge altogether, because people are putting their real money into it. They are very strict. They they won't let go any small mistake. We have to make sure that every penny counts from their end. We have to be very, we have to give them platform which is stable, which is generic, which is not hack proof, which is hack proof. And moreover, we have to make sure that they trust us on that, because they usually have a trust factor, telling them
Yeah.
that we are not running bots, we are the real users, real money, real players. That was a challenge, and we are
Real money
splitting.
being used in it.
Real money being very difficult, because even if it is a single rupee
Yeah.
being spent on the game, they expect that to be utilized in the right way. If they feel any hack in the game or any bots in the game running, they will not spare us. So we take extra precautions doing that. Every step that we take, we take compliance into account, we take all the governance into account, and ensure that every player who's playing the game is given a fair chance.
So you have, I mean, more than 17, 18 years of your experience into gaming, right? So what are the frequent technological tools that you have used? जो starting से अभी तक it is being, used for developing a game, be it any
Okay.
kind.
You see, there are programming languages that we have been using for a very long time. C++, as I said, was one of the programming languages that we use primarily. C++, while it has its advantages, which is it is performance, it is resource hungry, not that resource hungry, but there is a learning curve for C++. It's a very huge language to learn. So there are alternative options also. The best option that I could see right now, or I could recommend right now, is Unity Game Engine, which is fairly easy to get started with. Which has a very wide community of users, free for the first few users, as of say, or unless you hit a particular currency target. It is very easy. It works on C sharp as a primary language of development, which is fairly easy to understand and get started. You have tons of tutorials. You have a lot of community which is ready to and guide you to deliver what you want to do. And a lot of folks I see are specifically interns, college interns, are building their games using Unity and publishing on the Play Store. That is really amazing that people are spending that amount of time. They have that passion, they have that curiosity to learn, and thanks to Unity for building that tool to make life easy for the developers.
So even beginners can start.
Even beginners can start. It is from pro level beginner to noobs can, from the pro level they can get started. We can make very a simple a game like a Flappy Bird to a AAA quality game in Unity. Of course, the amount of time you take to build those games will vary based on the kind of games you are building, but they have the right amount of tools already there. All you need to do is find the right tutorial to get started. You need to have a focus to build that game, and you will be able to do that easily.
Got that. So, sir, we know how from 2D we've come to 3D. Now we have those VRs as well, AR VRs. So, how do you all stay updated about these trends, and how do you use it in your development and updatation of that same game?
Okay, so 2D to 3D, so again, based on the kind of games we are working on, we pick the right technology, whether it's a 2D or a 3D. Kids might like a 3D game where there is a 3D world, for example, Roblox that we have. They would love that. But when it comes to real money games, 3D or 3D may not be the right solution, because it has to be fast, it has to be simple. You can't have a card game in 3D. Can be built, but again, I don't see any need for someone to have a 3D world on that. So based on the kind of games we are building, kind of target audience we have, we pick the technology. Both of them have their own pros and cons. Both of them have their own advantages as well, a lot of them. But again, it is a choice that we make based on the data that we have in hand.
So, till now you do play video games and all these
Yes,
things, yes?
yes.
Which is your favorite one?
Call of Duty is my all-time favorite so far. Been a pro on that. Currently, I played Valorant more recently, and then stopped. Then I don't have enough time to play other games. But again, Call of Duty is very close to my heart.
So, we have a PS in our campus for the students.
Yes, I was very happy to see that.
So during their free times, they actually come to, like lounge area, and they are like, okay, yeah, now this is our game time. They actually play with the controllers and everything. What all games are there in it? I mean, I am not aware, but they have these kind of
I
games
was very
over here.
happy to see the kids enjoy talking about game engines, games, Valorant, about the heroes, or the characters, the knowledge that they had about the gaming domain was already there. I did not expect this from the kids here. luckily they had, and they asked me way too many questions regarding that. Some of them were very smart questions as well. Couple of them asked questions regarding QA, some of them regarding marketing, some of them regarding development. I did not expect all of this from the students at this age. I was very happy to see that. I think big thanks to the staff for pointing them into the right direction. I think they have the right tools also nowadays to get into the domain that they want to.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this was the first time you've come to the campus and interacted with them. You gave them insights. So, what was the kind of vibe that you got from these students and the campus as well?
The vibe, the campus, I loved. When I entered the first room, I thought it is a meeting room. Then I came to know that it's a classroom. It did not feel like a classroom in any way, because I couldn't see a blackboard anywhere. I couldn't see a marker anywhere. I saw filled with monitors everywhere where the presentation was being made. I was surprised. I asked them, where is auditorium? This is where you are giving a talk. I was happy to see that. Then I went to the curriculum as well. I saw all the industry, what the industry is currently demanding, it is being taught over here. One thing which I'm very surprised and happy, that at the moment I asked them how many people know C++ here, I think about 80% of the folks raise their hands, which I barely see anywhere else. Everybody, when I ask them which language do you know, they say Python and Java, which is very common across. And the fact that they are learning C++ and they are raising their hat saying that they are very confident that I can answer anything on C++, that was really surprising for me. I'm
That
really
to
happy on
first
that.
year students.
Yes, first year students, second semester they are on to, and they have already asked. They were asking questions regarding the programming language, the performance of the games, and the designing part of it. It shows curiosity in the kids.
Got that, sir. So, your involvement in co-founding an healthcare sector, like in an healthcare sector, like Erica Technologies. So, how did gaming influence to you to approach that healthcare? Like gaming से sector ही बदल गया ये पूरा.
See,
Why?
we wanted to do gamification, bring gamification inside the health. So our step,
Okay.
yeah. So that was our objective. We wanted to use digital therapeutics to treat certain diseases, which is the most common way right now. Instead of using traditional way of medicine, we wanted to use software as treatment, which is what the digital therapeutics is used for. That is what the motivation behind was for us to get started with Erica Technologies. Then when we started with online consultations. We did very well with that. We received a overwhelming response from the patients, specifically saying that the app is so easy to use. On just 3 or 4 clicks on the app, and then you get the doctor consultation done, medicines when done, reminders, everything was there. Uh, what has helped me being into gaming, into app development, was uh, the gamification part. How to make sure that we build the game, right kind of games to target the patients who are looking seeking help. We approached a lot of psychologists for digital therapeutics. We took guidance from the specialized doctors on building these games and designing these games. That was a really overwhelming experience for us. Being a developer, I was the one who's sitting behind the monitor writing the code. With this startup, I went out of that shell, started marketing, speaking to the doctors, speaking to the management of the hospitals, talking to the customers, talking, being a customer executive as well. The experience was amazing. I learned end-to-end development during the development of this product. Yeah.
Okay. So now we can say that you have good amount of knowledge in gamings as well and healthcare as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, how does the game? Okay, let's change the question in a way. Do you think there are more trends or there might be any changes in gaming sector in future? We can expect anything like that because as I know, like recently we had GTA 6 or
Yes.
which one?
GTA
6 or
6, I think.
6
Yes.
6, right? So that came into the market and I can already feel the hype students have.
Yeah.
So just wanted to know like what are the more trends we can expect in the gaming sector in future?
Yes, see, gaming has been evolving from decades. The AI, the word that we keep more frequently here nowadays, AI was introduced in gaming long back. Neural networks, fuzzy logic was part of the gaming 2 decades back. So the gaming domain is the one which is being more creative, because they have to cater to the large segment of audience based on irrespective of their gender, their nationality, language. Nothing is a barrier over. Everybody is open to play games and experience. Everybody has their own set of demands, their own set of expectations. So catering to all these audience, it requires us to be constantly creative, be constantly innovative on that part. We have to not only be creative, we have to also adapt to the new technologies, new platforms, new operating system, new hardware that is being generated. So every year there is a new phone coming out with a new different operating system. We have to make sure that we adhere to their standards, their guidance, their requirements, their compliance. So we are constantly learning, we are constantly evolving, and gaming has been there from a very long time. It will be there, being the head first into the innovation part for the software industry.
So, how much time does it take from actually creating a story for a game to implementing it, to testing it, to actually taking feedbacks, and also एक game के लिए how much time it takes for it to go to the market?
Okay, see, there is no hard and fast rule of how much time it takes to any game. Every game has its own life cycle based on the genre of the game that you are building for. For example, if a small puzzle game might take couple of weeks, maybe.
Okay.
But if you're talking about triple A quality games like a PUBG or a Valorant, that takes several years. That amount of effort not everybody is willing to put in. For example, GTA takes about 3-4 years to release the next game. But can everybody do that? GTA has that expertise. They have that brand. They have that. They can deliver that quality for sure. So they can take the risk. But not everybody else can. That is why the amount of games, the big quality, big number games that you see is very less. But if you see puzzle games, educational games, small games, the hyper casual games, you see more of them. Because that is the cycle. The development cycle is very fast. They fail fast. They develop, publish, make revenue, or go whatever it is. So they can make to a new game much faster. So there is no rule as such, but again, it does take a good amount of people to work in collaboration to deliver a good quality of game. A set of people who are passionate towards developing games, that is essential. Then you need to have a good color combination in the game that looks and feels good. Then it has to feel good in the hand. You need to have a good user experience. Then you need to people who will monetize the game to make sure that you are generating revenue out of the game. That is also very end of the day, we are running a business. It has to generate revenue. So you need experts on that also. So it takes a bunch of folks to work closely, collaborate well to deliver a very good experienced game.
So you remember your first game that you developed or made?
The first game that I developed was a multiplayer soccer game. We developed using a game engine called Torque, which no longer exists. But it was whatever learnings I have came from that game engine. We had nightmares working on that. We worked for almost 4-5 months without a break for almost 16 hours a day. So that was a huge learning curve for me. I was a fresher back then. Thanks to my mentors who guided me to that journey. I am very helpful. That was very helpful. That game is very close to my heart. We did not go to the market live, but it was a good stepping stone into my career to get into the game development part.
So when was it the time era during
this is game? 2005.
2005. Okay. Okay.
Fresh out of college, I joined that company. So.
Okay. So you have seen games turning from 2D to 3D. So do you all find any differences or any difficulties during the development of these games? Like कोई specific difficulty पड़ता है?
हाँ, difficulty in the sense when you 2D games are very lightweighted, very small, but 3D games are very heavy. You need, for example, you are playing a 3D game where there is a character. The character has to look real. The level of detail on his faces has to be real. Nowadays, if you see games, when they speak, their lip also sync as per the dialogues. That also has to be there. Their animation has to be really good. It has to be look like a real person walking. All of these are challenges for the entire team, not just the art team. We have to make sure that it looks good, it feels good, it has to behave good. Everything is a challenge over there. That is a big risk, I would say. Big risk and the challenge, I would say. At the end of the day, the user has to feel that no matter what I have in my mind, how I develop, how we write, if the user is not feeling it, there is no point. So we have to deliver that quality, that experience. That is a big challenge in 3D games. And the app size increases, the amount of time to make a 3D character and a 3D environment is immensely high compared to 2D. The iteration that it goes to make a 2D game and compared to a 3D game. 3D is much longer.
Got that. So well, development of actually a game, if sometimes an employee, if we can take an example, ki they're working on a game, now they're tired of it, they go back to do some other gaming and come back to do as your free time, they go back, play some game and come back and do their gaming work again.
Yes.
Does that happen?
Yes, it does happen. See, I would actually do that. Even in all my previous companies, it used to be so addictive that we exactly at 2 o'clock our Call of Duty 2 server used to run, no matter what,
Okay.
irrespective of whether we have a release or not. So it has to be there exactly at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at 6 o'clock in the evening. It has to be there, and we all used to play the games mandatorily, and we used to encourage people to play the games because see, we work in a domain which requires creativity, and only a happy mind can be creative. You can't put a gun on someone's head and ask them to be creative, right? You can't be creative at that point of time. So making games makes you happy, makes you feel comfortable. It gives you that sense of happiness, right?
Happiness.
That, yes. Then not only that, when you play the game, especially player game, you start bonding with the team members.
Right.
You can bond with the people, with your colleagues now. Apart from work, you're talking to them about something else. Which is a common share or a common passion between the guys. So that way the bond between the team increases. That is what I have seen. We used to have the sessions without fail, no matter what, and that helped us connect with the other team members very passionately. Also, we had a very good bond. Also, we used to argue, we used to fight, but that was all in a positive way. That helps. I would strongly recommend people to do that. It definitely helps.
So this thing is making me assume that like corporate world of a gaming company feels like very happy place. Like you just walk in and you see many games around. Is
Yes.
it like that?
Yeah, it is. It is all chaotic at the same time. It is fun all the same time. See, if you enjoy your work, you will enjoy it no matter where you go, right? So gaming is fun anyway because you get to make games, you get to play games, and it is fun. You will see people talking about games everywhere. That you not only your games, you play your competitors' game to see what they are doing, what can we do better, and what is the user complaining, how can we do better. So all of that research goes on, all the discussions going on. It feels amazing to build a game. That experience is amazing because delivering to users expectation is a very big challenge, and whenever we achieve that challenge, it gives us unmeasurable amount of happiness when we see our game doing well, when people praise us, when they spend money in the game, or when they're hooked to the game.
So how important is the feedback or the when you'll test that game? So how important it is for you to be like, okay, yeah, now is the time we can launch the game. Now is the time it is gonna go live.
See, feedback is very essential. We usually do this user acceptance test, which we call UAT, which is essential for us to play the game as an end user, not as a developer, not as a product manager. We play the user as a game as an end user to understand whether I am able to complete the game without any hand holding, whether I'm able to understand the new feature without me having a particular guide or a tutorial inside the game. If I can do that, well and good. Otherwise, we sit back and decide how do we make the user adapt to this feature, because in our game we keep releasing new features very frequently. How do you make sure that the user is aware of this? Right? He has to be aware of the new feature being implemented, how to use it, what is this, what is the advantages, what is the advantage, why should I adopt. So this we spend a lot. We talk to the customers also after the game goes live. We call them up, ask them what is the feedback, what they like, what they don't like. We incorporate their feature, we have internal discussion, we see how we can make it better, and then we keep improvising. That is a challenging work that we do. We call it as customer pulse. That is one thing that we do on a very regular basis. Once in 15 days we get back and talk to all the customers and get their feedback, and we work upon that feedback.
Got that. So any kind of suggestions or any advice for these students to focus on if they want to actually achieve their or go ahead in future with gaming sector?
Okay.
So is there anything they should focus morely from their first year itself?
Focus on specific domains that they want to get into, whether they want to become a developer, whether they want to get into art and design, UI UX, or they want to get into testing of the game, or the product manager, which we call as the producer in gaming. So they need to pick that first. Once they decide, then there are they need to identify which tool to get started with. For example, if you want to get into game development, there are game engines like Unity, Unreal, Godot, Coco Story. Or if you want to get into art, then you need to understand what is concept art, what is UI UX, what is Photoshop, Max, Maya, Blender. Then QA, whether it is automation, manual testing, there are certain set of softwares like Airplay SDK and then Selenium, that one. And then product management is a different skill altogether. They have to understand that. Uh, Again, then once you pick that, you have to pick which programming language they have to get started with, what kind of games they want to build with. For all of that, you have nowadays you have a lot of channels available. YouTube is a one good source of learning. You have Udemy courses available, which tells you about from the point from installation of a software till the final development and publishing of the game. Lot of resources are easily available now.
So, sir, in your opinion, if there are games like that is not all the kids can play, especially real money games, right? So, how do you make sure that it is not breaking that kind of ethical consideration, we can say, like it is not breaking that, and only the audience that is supposed to be playing it
Okay.
is playing it, and not kids are playing it,
Okay.
like taking real time
Real-
money
okay, so
game
in
into consideration.
real money gaming, when it comes to real money gaming, we need to make sure that the user is KYC, has done the KYC,
Okay,
right?
okay,
So they have to give us their Aadhaar card, PAN card before they start doing any cash transactions.
okay,
Free games anybody can play, but when it comes to adding or depositing money or withdrawing money, they have to have the KYC compliant. That
Okay,
is the
okay.
government rule also, and we strictly adhere to it. That
Okay.
is one. When it comes to ethics, the second part was about the ethical part. So how do you make sure that the user is not being cheated? So all our games are RMG certified. Or RMG certified. There is
What
certification
exactly is
RMG
it?
real money gaming certificate. So randomness, the
Okay.
randomness that we have, that has to be certified. So we get the certification for that as well. And there are no bots in the game. Every player that you see playing the game is a real player, right? That is also what we ensure from our end. And also we make sure that the game are hack proof. Nobody can hack or tamper the game. We make sure that every move that the user making is validated from our server. Nobody can tamper the binary files that we release. So server driven is what we have. So that way we make sure that we don't allow anybody to hack the game. We don't architecture the game the people where the people can hack into the game. And most important part is, if the user is losing the game very frequently, we usually ask them to take a break. From our platform itself, we block the user from playing the game. We call it as responsible gaming. So we don't allow them to play the game for X amount of hours.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Got that. So, obviously tech is involved, so there might be some breakdowns as well. So,
Okay.
how do have you faced any challenge of a breakdown कि 5 मिनट के लिए कुछ server का ही issue हो जाए,
yes,
and
we have seen that, but it is very risky for the business. We cannot
Yeah.
afford that. Specifically when in Rummy, when we are running a tournament, we have to make sure that the servers are up and running, they are stable, they can handle the scale. So a lot of planning goes into place before the marketing team comes up with a plan that we are running a tournament for XYZ period, and this is the money pool that we are giving in. That time they will give us a heads up beforehand. So then we scale our servers, making sure that the servers are able to handle that scale. We train our customer support team to tell them that handle the customers during that period. Then we keep the live ops team, the DevOps team, all the developers in line, making sure that everything is going smooth. People are monitoring the servers constantly for errors or anything. When it comes to daily fantasy, which is a house ad game, that also requires during the match, specifically India Pakistan matches, right? That is the time where everybody is on their toes, making
Right.
sure that server is up and running, it is able to handle the scale, the infrastructure is running and able to handle all the messages that we are sending out, all the requests that are coming in. So that is a very critical phase for us, because even if the server goes down for a minute, we lose revenue. It's
Ever
not just
faced that server down?
Oh yes, once
Okay.
we did, but we are very cautious now. It is not about just the revenue loss; it is more about the reputation that we have built up in the market. So we have to live up to that standard also. So we always take extra care for all of this. But again, sometimes it did happen once for smaller games, but we always take care of that now.
Got that. So how important it is, to get into gaming, keeping your, work life and all those professional life aside, and then just getting yourself into the game. Because I remember, COVID ke time pe when our studies were online, I used to be like, okay, fine, now games are there. PUBG and all came, then GTA all were there. So it was more of like, okay, into the game only. Students were into the game only.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know, like, how important it is for a person to be into game, and how that can implement their knowledge. Or because I have heard from my mom saying ki, what, every time you have to play game? But it is
It
important.
is important. See, it's a myth that games are not good.
Yes.
The reality is games do help you. They help you building your logical thinking. There are puzzle games that will help you build your logical thinking. There are word games that will help you improve your language. For example, there are a lot of games on English language, for example, where you have to make a word by combining a couple of letters. That helps you learn the language faster, because learning is always fun when it comes to gaming, right? So that you can do. And then when you play a multiplayer game, you learn how to collaborate with people, how to work
Right.
as a team. But again, as I said, everything has to be controlled manner. If you eat healthy food, it doesn't mean that you are healthy. Too much of healthy food also is bad for health, right?
Right.
Yes. So there has to be regulations. Keep a tab on what you are doing, but certain amount of gaming is recommended. I would recommend even for kids. Yeah, I have two daughters, by the way. I allowed them to play games from the beginning. They used to play all the games from whatever I used to build, and I used to give handpick the games. At least that I used to do. Handpick the game of what kind of games they pick. So their learning curve is increasing. The physics-based game, the language-based games, or the games where the infinite runner games like Subway Surfer, Temple Run, where it is helping them with their motor skills, and specifically the eye to hand coordination where they have to flip fast. So that will come only with gaming, right?
Gaming,
So
right.
but under a certain amount of regulation, gaming is good.
Gaming is good.
Yes.
Yes.
Playing game is good, making game is good.
Yes. So any last word of advice you would give to these students, not in gaming terms, but yeah, like they are in their first year now, going ahead. So
Okay. So what I would recommend is try to focus on your passion. Convert your passion into profession. You will be happy forever.
learn from sir. He converted his passion of gaming into actually his professional life.
Yep.
So yeah, at the last, again, gaming is important.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. It was great to have you here and getting to know so much about games and the insights. It was really wonderful to know about all these things. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir, for giving us your time. And yes, thank you.